Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sanderlanche podcast. This week, we're talking about Tress of the Emerald Sea, chapters 8 through 15, wherein Tress escapes, she thinks, successfully, but then is poisoned by the captain of the ship that she snuck onto. She awakes in a cage next to a Reaper-Cheap wannabe, but not for the reason she thinks, and then a cannonball interrupts her imprisonment. She weathers an attack where she was imprisoned until she convinces a crewmate that she's their answer to escape. She and the rat end up having to leave the ship on frozen spores after unsuccessfully getting the attacking ship to stop attacking. She walks slowly across still spores, hangs on the side of the attacking ship until she's deemed worthy to come aboard after spending 15 minutes hanging on to it. She works tirelessly to earn her keep aboard the new ship, which turns out to be newly formed pirates, and then she makes friends with the deaf and mute quartermaster, who uses some nifty technology to communicate. And of course, Hoyd says some weird stuff in the narration. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. I am Joe, and with me is
Jamie,
Data,
and Dak.
Hold on to something, everyone. The Sanderlanche is about to begin.
Daughter of the Dune, terror of the West, sail the coast of Ireland with O'Malley on her crest. Sailors on the blue, shaking in their cots, feeling the foreboding of the terror that she wrought. Up the hull and away we go, stock the galley and gold, whack the nipple again to blow, we matter above the hold. Dance along on the waterline, speed of some of the waves, back to back on the borderlines to never shut out of the aim.
So yeah, we did a whole 8 chapters this time. These Tress chapters are shorter than we're used to in most of these books, I think. But what did you guys think of these 8 chapters?
yeah, these are fun. I still really enjoy this story. I think that Ahoyd's storytelling is still a lot of fun. Having him go off these little side stories, I think is really fun as well. Especially knowing what we already know about Ahoyd. Like, I feel like if you were to pick up this book without having any context of who he is, I feel like it just builds a much bigger picture. And the Tress's journey is pretty cool. It wasn't ever going to be so simple as things are working out really well for her straight away. So that was, I wasn't surprised that she ended up in some peril straight away. I didn't think it would be like the next chapter, but that was still pretty cool.
Yeah, started fast, right?
Yeah, but I guess like it's got to move pretty quick. It's telling a whole story in a book as opposed to multiple books, so like I get it. Her right friend, oh gosh, what's his name? It starts with a H.
Huck.
Huck. Okay, I wanna call him Hank, and I know that's not right, but in my head he's Hank now. he's
Love that.
pretty
He
cool.
could be
I
Hank.
actually Hank the rat. I would just like to learn more about him and his journeys. That's really cool. I love the visual, and then again accompanied by the beautiful art for having the ship go down in just this sea of big vines coming out of the spore ocean. The picture was painted so well in words, and then to have this beautiful picture that's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I was seeing. Like it was really cool to see those two go hand in hand. I'm curious about this new like band of pirates and what's going on with them. They're clearly, not a happy band of individuals together. They're doing stuff they don't really want to be doing. What's to go with the captain? But like the individual characters that we have met, I like them. I hope we get a bit more of them. I don't know that we're going to stay with them for a really long period, because she's going to have to keep going on her journey. But I've enjoyed everyone so far. I think it's a really fun story, and I'm really excited that it's new. I'm really glad we went on like away from Stormlight for a little bit. I feel like I'm still waiting for this really big story, but trying to not trying to just enjoy it as I go, I guess, rather than thinking too far ahead about what might happen. But it's fun.
Yeah, it's something we've run into with some of the shorter stories, even though this one's novel length. You're like always looking for that big epic giant book that turns into a trilogy of giant books sort of story. And they tend to be a little smaller when they're like a novella or whatever, right? Oh, also, I agree with you about now I'm gonna have to call him Hank. You got that in my head, but the I guess used to these crazy fantasy things, so maybe it's not that big of a jump for us to be like, oh, and this rat talks. But I feel like Tress takes it really in her stride, and I want to know more because she's like, wait, you talk? And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. And she's like, okay, I guess we have more important things to deal with, but but I would like to talk about this. I want to know more about it.
Yeah, exactly. What else talks on this planet?
She's respecting his boundaries.
Yeah, that's true. It's if they're going to be friends, then boundaries are important. but yeah, apparently it's not normal as far as Tress knows. But I guess that could also tie back with what we talked about last time, where Tress has been stuck on the rock, and maybe things don't work the way she's been told.
Yeah, I like these chapters a lot. I do say fantasy tropes being what they are, talking mice is not my favorite thing. Mentioned Reepicheep in my my overview of the chapters this week. I'm not a Reepicheep fan. He has some great lines, and he's got some. He's a very honorable character, but I've just never been a fan of talking mice. I'm hoping that this mouse changes, or rat, excuse me. I'm hoping this route changes my mind. I hope that I love Hank, and he's my new best friend. But so far, I really enjoyed this stuff. We can talk about it when we get into it. But Data sent us a video where Brandon talks to a guy about how like fluidity works, and it kind of like put it together in my mind a little better when we get to that section where she's walking across the spores, because I'm like, I don't get it. But it makes a little more sense after watching that video. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more about this world for sure. And I do like the pace, right? Knowing that this is a standalone book, it's like, oh man, this pace is good. It's kind of clipping along, and we're getting an adventure kind of like at a fast pace. So I'm actually enjoying that as much as I love the big epic tales and the multiple book stories. It's nice to just like read this and be like, oh man, here we go. We're on an adventure. So excited to kind of keep that going.
Yeah, the pace it definitely seems like it's cooking on this one, for sure, at this point. She escaped the island, and she's been to 2 different ships within a couple of chapters because things are just so crazy. So, yeah. It's a big difference from the Way of Kings, the start of that.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a bad thing at all, though, knowing that this is kind of the only Tress we're going to get, at least as far as we know. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Also, for anyone out there who did not see the video, I did show them. Brandon posted a video with Mark Rober, who is a YouTuber who I know. I've seen he did several interesting videos. I think he went kind of viral several years ago when he made the glitter bomb machine to like catch porch pirates, and that's where I first saw him. Where it was like the box like sprays them with glitter when it opens up.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It like makes a fart smell too, and it like
yeah, he's got the fart spray and
I remember that.
He's done a couple of really interesting science and engineering sort of things in his videos, and but I'll put that link in the description of this episode in case you guys have not seen the video. It is pretty fun, and it helps you get a handle on the way Tress, the world, with the Spore Sea works.
Joe, how many stories with talking mice do you know? Because off the top of my head, I can only think of Reepicheep and like the mice from Cinderella.
There's Reepicheep, there's Stuart Little.
Stuart Little, doy.
Yeah, there's Ralph S. Mouse.
There's definitely lots of movies and things. I don't think I count stuff that's like a mouse society where all the mice talk, like Ratatouille or whatever, as but I mean I guess that's part of the trope.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just not been ever something that I'm like, oh man, this is my jam, talking mice. But yeah, I'm ready for Hank to change my mind. I'm ready. I'm a Hank believer. People who are listening to this are going to be annoyed we keep calling him Hank, but I don't care. I love it.
It's Hank now.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's Hank.
Yep. He sells propane and propane accessories for rats.
Oh Jesus!
That's why he doesn't want to talk about it. He became a salesman and he felt like he sold out.
One of my favorite, like, underrated classic Disney films is The Great Mouse Detective. That's like all time.
Oh, yeah. But again, that's like a world of talking mice, right? So it's not like as weird of a thing.
Yeah.
Like Fievel Goes West, stuff like that.
the rescuers. All right, now that we talk about it, I'm just like, oh, I do know more than I thought of.
Right?
It
It's
comes
like
up. The rescuers even went down under.
I feel like it was a thing, right? It's like the unlikely heroes. They're such small creatures. They're mice, but but you know, they're good. They're good heroes,
Yeah,
especially for
Yeah.
kids.
no cheeses for us Mises. Anyway, like before we go any further down that rabbit hole, yeah, no, these chapters are a fucking roller coaster, and I love them. This book is just like, ooh, I'm just really enjoying this. It's every time I think I know this is what's going to happen, it changes. I think it's pretty amazing. Just like, we're only 2 sections in, and already there are points where I'm just like, we're just like, oh, she has to walk across the spores to get to the other ship. I'm just like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
And then you see, like, what a bad idea it is for other people.
Other people
They're
try it.
infected
And just
by
like
them.
the dudes on the top, it's like, just take a shot.
It gets kind of grotesque.
It's just, yeah. This story has given us a lot of exposition in a way that doesn't feel forced, and it's moving at a really fast clip, and it doesn't feel like it's rushed. It just feels like this is just like the adventure bouncing along merrily, and there's a lot of good stuff going on. I like Hank. I like the pirates that she's fallen in with, who aren't very good pirates apparently, or something. I did think it was amusing. It's like, oh, for the first time ever, we see Hoyd has been humbled a bit, because not even Hoyd is incapable of fucking up sometimes. So interesting. Yeah, no, love it. Like, loving this book, having a grand old time. Keen to keep going.
Yeah, Hoyt has gotten himself into a bit of trouble here, and it's it's weird, but interesting for sure.
Yeah. Also, we've made I think he's pretty well spelled it out that he is telling the story to someone on Roshar, because at one point he says something about it's all in the name, and he says something about wit. I'm like, okay, so that's where you are when you're telling the story. There's going to be like an epilogue of this book where Kaladin's be like, what the fuck was that about?
It's all being told to Kaladin. That would be unexpected. I feel like. Oh yeah. After that last book, he was he just sat down and told Kaladin this just really long story. Okay, well, I guess let's get into this book, or these chapters, I should say. So, Tress got off the rock and by pretending to be the inspector, and as she's sailing away, she sees the actual inspector show up. And you guys had wondered last time about like what had happened to the inspector, and it's just like, well, we just told her the wrong time, so it all worked out. And she's impressed with herself a little bit. Like, the plan went so well. Maybe everything will be this easy. The whole rescuing her Charlie thing.
Famous last words.
Right? Yeah, don't jinx it. I like how immediately things are different with the like stuff like look at the sky. It looks really pretty when you get away from all the mining smog that I've had my entire life. And the rails of the ship are lined with silver that kills spores when they come over. So that is how they manage to sail around and not get murdered constantly. And I love like the one thing she brought along was her bag of cups. She got some clothing and stuff, but her favorite cups.
Gotta have my cups. I don't know. I don't remember the part where they start talking about it, but I became really interested when it's like, yeah, there's different kinds of spores that do different things in each of the different places. I'm like, wait, that's crazy. Like there's so many different kinds of spores, and they're all oceans. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 12 different moons, I think, as we established last time. I guess each one it's a different color spore, so what 12 things could they do? And there's a description of how fluidization works, which I sent the video like Joe mentioned, and it does help you understand. There's vents on the ocean floor that blow air up through the spores, which makes them act like a liquid, and that allows sailing. But every once in a while, air indicates bursts of air. But it just stops, and that makes the sand or the spores turn into essentially sand, and everything freezes for a bit.
Yeah, how do the air vents work, though? That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm. I like the line, the sea was wrong in the way that solely something almost right can be. Familiar yet alien, as if it were Liquid's disrespectful cousin who told inappropriate jokes at Grandma's funeral.
I am happy to say I've never had that experience of telling inappropriate jokes at a grandmother's funeral.
Yeah, that's for the best, probably.
I mean, not to the whole room, but I certainly have had many jokes told.
Not to the whole room.
Jamie's just in the back whispering inappropriate jokes at all
I
funerals.
didn't say I told the jokes.
Oh, okay. I like to think you did, though. Leaning over to your cousin and just being like, and she's like, what are you saying?
Yeah, I mean, not so much an inappropriate joke, but my grandmother used to sing "Hey Big Spender," Shirley Bassey, quite a lot. That was her go-to karaoke song. And at her funeral, my mum pulled out a bag of black feather boas, and we all put on feather boas to leave the church, singing "Hey Big Spender."
Aw.
So
That's kind of nice.
yeah, I mean, nice. It's not the way she danced to it was not entirely appropriate, so we
Sure,
probably
sure.
shouldn't be doing that in a church. And my great grandmother left money for us to play on the pokies and go into the chook raffle after her funeral, and we won the chook raffle. So thanks, Nana. My family's pretty fun, actually.
That's sweet, actually. Now, where were we? She's working on her plan. We've seen the ransom notes, so her plan is to try to convince the king to pay the ransom. So I don't know how she's going to get enough money to pay the ransom, but that must be easier than trying to cross the Midnight Sea and confront the sorceress. So, and then the captain's all creepy, like, you have beautiful hair, the color of a fine cup of mead. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my cabin now. And she gets in the cabin. She drinks the drink that the water that he gave her, and she's like, "Man, everything feels so much more real. Am I really doing this? Am I really leaving home? What were those strange colored pigeons, and why were they talking to her?" And then the chapter ends with, "That last part was a side effect of the poison." It's just,
Which, not that what happens to her isn't sinister, but I thought it was going to be more sinister because, like, Captain's being all creepy. But then, we don't really see that guy again.
Good riddance, really.
Yeah, he got deaded, probably. He got vined. Which, for this fantasy book, I will say, like, pretty horrific.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this last episode. Pretty horrific result to messing around with the spores. It's like, oh man, look at this lovely world, and it's so wild. They have an ocean made of mushrooms. Oh wait, they kill you horrifically.
Yeah. This is a bouncy, whimsical tale, and then you have vines erupting out of every orifice because you breathed in the wrong fungus.
Yeah, it's a little bit shocking with the overall tone of the book, for sure. I guess I assume this is intentional dichotomy here. So she wakes up and she is in a cell, although it's really dark, so she can't see. And somebody else is in here. Oh yeah, I'm a fellow prisoner. Hold on, I'll get some light. And the other person's like, "You're crazy to come on here. Why'd you board the ship alone? How do you think this was gonna play out? You're gonna take them all on your own? Take them where? It's like, you don't know? This is a smuggler's vessel. They forged the writs from the king so they could buy and sell things without paying tariffs." And Tress is like, "Ah, crap. They thought I got on their ship because I was suspicious of them. Ugh." And he's like, "Really, you weren't?" It's kind of hilarious. He starts laughing in a way that sounds like a hyperventilating donkey. And she's like, "A complete coincidence, really. Poor woman." And she thinks the smugglers are going to kill her and dispose of her body. But honestly, I mean, they didn't already do that when she was asleep. They could have just thrown her overboard.
Yeah, I don't know what their game was. I guess ransomer? Is that what they say later?
Maybe. I don't even recall, though. We'll have to see.
They're not going back. They're not going where she thought they were going, though, I think is what we find out.
Yeah, so that's also not helping. But the voice is like, "Hey, but at least you got off the rock, right?" And she's like, "Wait, you know about the rock?" "Yeah, I was going to visit there before the sailors found out about me and locked me up." "Why would you visit Diggins Point?" He's like, "I have reasons. My kind are mysterious." And that's when he turns on the light and shows her that he is a common black rat.
A mysterious rat. Sure. We buy that.
He's kind of mysterious,
I guess. He's just trying to be mysterious. He's probably really lame. No, I take that back. I don't want to say that about Hank.
Oh, Hank's soft, yeah. And he's just like, "You don't seem young enough. You don't seem old enough, rather, to be an inspector." "I have a young face?" "Uh-huh, yeah." And he sees through it right away. "This is like a plan to escape from the rock, huh?" And she's like, "And it worked." "Yeah, except for the accidentally frightening a bunch of smugglers part." And she's like, "Okay, well, can we maybe take a step back and talk about, I don't want to be rude or anything, but you're a rat? And he's like, yeah, seems self-evident. Also, you're talking? Yeah. And? Okay, but how? He goes, with my mouth. And then she doesn't press it more because she doesn't want to be rude. I guess I would be offended if someone was like, how can you talk? So, all right.
It's give me some Final Fantasy VII vibes when they meet Red for the first time, and they're like, "You could talk." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll talk as much as you want later. We got to get out of here."
I was waiting for this to be Hoyd as a rat.
That would be great, actually.
You're giving me the same amount of sass.
She kind of is. That's a good point. Yeah. Now I'm almost sad that that's not the way the story goes. Now that you said that, jeez.
No.
It's actually, since Hoyd's narrating, it's actually like he's putting his personality into the story by doing this rat.
Oh, could be. The rat is just a character he completely made up and added to the story.
Yeah.
He's like, it was actually me. I'm not like, my senses aren't messed up.
And so the rat kind of puts a button on it by being like, look, there's a story. I don't want to talk about it. All right.
I won't pry.
And so they caught him the smugglers did while he was chewing on their rations. We're going to throw him overboard. And so he had to reveal that he had to talk in order to stay alive. But now they want to sell him, probably. And apparently, because of the impending war, everyone is turning to smuggling these days. And she's like, wait, there's a war coming? Yeah, with the sorceress. She's sending more ships to raid, and the king is building up his forces. And she's like, hey, do you think that maybe if I explain to them that I'm not actually an inspector? And he's like, oh, so you're not an inspector all of a sudden. I'm whatever gets me out of the cage, all right? I'm trying to rescue my friend. He's in trouble. And he's just like, a man? Hun, no man is worth getting killed over. You should just go back home. And their conversation gets cut off by a cannonball flying through the wall. Priority delivery, it says. And so the cannonball crashes through and bursts into shards of wet ceramic and what looked like metal beads, which is a very different kind of cannonball than what we're used to.
Yeah, like, this is getting into the weeds probably a little bit, but it's like, I want to know the engineering behind this cannonball. How is it propelled? How does the cannon work?
And so there's a hole in I was going to say in the wall, but I guess hull now is the more correct word.
Hole in the wall, like that terrible TV show?
Yes, that is a bad shot. And there's another ship out there, and she's like, is that pirates? And he's like, well, pirates shouldn't be firing without demanding surrender first. Why sink all your potential booty under the ocean of spores?
It's a good question.
Probably a royal ship that found out we're smugglers. And she's like, oh, well, that's bad. But it does give her an out, potentially, as she's going to try to exploit her supposed position as royal inspector to stop this royal ship. Kind of works. And so in naval warfare upon the Spore Seas, Tress gets a crash course. Like, sure, they could have used stupid metal cannonballs, but these blast open and dump water everywhere because water makes the spores do things, whatever it is that each color does. So cannonball full of water breaks through the wall and lets spores in, and then splash, suddenly you've got a bunch of vines growing out of your ship. And then we get a more detailed than we probably need description about how it feels when the vines start growing like in your throat and down your lungs and up through your sinuses. It's not great.
This really got more descriptive than I was expecting it to. I was like, this is such a nice book. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is the stuff of nightmares. Cool.
Yeah, it's a little whiplashy, yeah.
Definitely terrifying.
And then a guy shows up to try and fix the problem with a thing called a splint box, which Hoyd just knows by complete coincidence is exactly the right size to hold a human head. And so the thing, it like drips some water into the box, and then a sheet of reddish pink stone grows out the front, which he takes off with a special knife and uses to plug the hole. Or actually, he sticks the thing in there and he grows the stuff, and then he kind of cuts it off so that it plugs the hole. And we're told that basically every ship has a guy who does this stuff, who uses spores in a constructive way. This is roseite, It grows from the pink-red spores of the Rose Sea, which border the Emerald Sea.
So what does it look like when the
Uh,
two seas meet? I want to see that.
That is a good question, right? Like, very pretty, very horrifying.
Yeah.
One of these things, probably, maybe both of them. But we've heard the term rosite before. I don't remember if you guys recall that, but
Lost metal?
Yeah.
that it was in the Lost Metal, yeah.
So this guy from Tress's planet? Because that would be weird.
Well, what he does, it involves rosite in growing like crystal-y things, but it seems to be very different from
Yeah.
what we're seeing here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it seems
So-
pretty different.
Maybe related?
Maybe
It's hard to tell. Maybe it's
refined.
just, you know,
Yeah, or maybe this planet is like where a bunch of different planets like dump their weird stuff.
Oh, each sea is just like a wastage dump.
Yeah, from like different planets using weird stuff.
like Thor 3? Yeah, Thor 3. That's the one.
It's like we didn't want to tell you this, but your planet's actually a giant Cosmere dump. That's why you live on a rock of salt. We had way too much salt on our planet, and we just dumped it there.
Yeah, see? It works out, right?
I like this theory. I'm
Yeah.
sticking with it. This planet's a dump. Do we know the name of Tress's planet?
I don't think we do yet.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if it comes up in the book, honestly. Yeah, we just... So yeah, she is amazed that spores can be used for, like, a useful purpose, not just to kill you, essentially. Because he's using these rose spores to create basically a bandage for the ship to stop the leaking in of bad spores. Well, bad. The green ones. I'm not sure any of them qualify as,
Right.
good.
From your perspective, the red spores are evil. I get it.
And so this guy is called a Sprouter, which is the title of the chapter, the Sprouter. So
What a terrible supervillain name, the Sprouter. sounds like a Mega Man. Like, it'd be Sprouter Man if you were fighting him.
like Poison Ivy was right there. Why'd you go for the Sprouter?
Makes me think
That
of.
was taken.
I'll
it's already
I'll
taken.
take a small manga minute here. There's the main character of My Hero Vigilantes. His superhero name is the Crawler, but everybody gets it confused and calls him the Cruller. Just thought that
Pretty
was
good.
funny. He's like, no, it's the Crawler. He's like, oh, hey, what's up, Crawler?
That is an unfortunate misunderstanding, yeah. And so this is where she proposes to the guy her idea that she's like, hey, if they know there's a royal inspector on board and they're a royal ship, maybe they won't fire on us. And he's like, oh, hey, that's a good idea.
It's like, get over here.
We get a whole description of how the ships, they're not like the huge ships with tons of cannons or anything. There's usually maybe one or two, and they're made so that this ship has a little cannon on the foredeck that can swivel back and forth and aim at different things. And the vines, as the cannonballs land in the water, are bursting open and making the vines come out of the spores. The vines also die as they get near silver, so that's not just in spore form. That works all around.
Was it Shadows for Silence where Silver stopped the ghost things?
Yeah, the
Spectres?
shades.
Yeah.
It sure
Mm.
did.
Yeah. Does
Cool.
Silver have... It's been so long, I just can't remember. Does Silver have allomantic or ferrochemical power?
It does
No.
not, as far as we know.
Interesting.
Because I remember, like, you said he really wanted Silver to be one of them, but he had to, like, the raw metal was tin and the refined metal was pewter, so he had to use those instead.
Oh.
Yes, it was tin eyes were originally silver eyes in the book until he
Mhm.
found out that he didn't know as much about the making of pewter as he thought. So he had to change it to tin. And he talked about at one point that he still sometimes writes silver eyes because he was so used to calling it that originally.
Yeah. Well, I guess he's getting to use silver now, so that's good for him.
Yeah, see? And there's a part where it's like one of the vines bursts into existence more twisted than a librarian's love life. Trust me, they're a strange bunch.
That's so
Just
random, Hoyd.
librarians catching strays out here.
Hoy's just like, hey, when I tell the story, I can take shots at whoever I want.
If
True,
you are a
yeah.
librarian listener, write in. Tell us how you felt about that comment by Brandon. And also, tell us what a librarian does these days, because I honestly don't know how it works.
They're just like 100% accurate. Yeah, my love life is crazy. I don't know what to tell you.
Like, I can't tell you how many different weird relationships I've had. It's insane.
I mean, Brandon has a whole series about evil librarians. So
Does
That's
he?
what I was gonna say. I'm sure you've mentioned something about evil librarians before, so this
It's
was going to be Hoyd referencing other books.
he's a librarian. He thinks librarians are gatekeepers to knowledge. I bet that's why he doesn't like them.
I don't know that he actually doesn't like them. I think it's just fun. But yeah, there's the series that he did for Scholastic is Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. So
Alcatraz versus the evil librarians.
Yeah.
What a silly title.
it's great. They're clearly directed kids, but they're a lot of fun. I love them. We get some more weird names. The helmsman is called Gustall, and the Sprouter is apparently called Dorp because the captain's like, "What are you doing with this woman, Dorp?"
Well, I mean, hey, Tress's real name is like Glorf or something. So
Yep.
Yeah. It's like every time I think, Brandon, what are you doing with the names? Like he just pushes it further. We get Glorf, we get Dorp, and then apparently it's like the most common name in the Cosmere is Doug.
Doug.
Yeah.
Which I'm just
Good
like,
old Doug.
like, when was this written? Was he watching Thor Ragnarok? It's like my boyfriend Doug, my mom's boyfriend Doug, who I hate.
Who I hate.
Yep.
This Doug who I hate.
Oh, it's great actually. I'll talk about it when we get there. But Doug is there's some cool Doug things.
It's a friend named Doug.
No, it's about the convention. But anyway, I'll talk about it.
Do it, Doug.
I think I've ever met a Doug.
I did.
Yeah, I think
Funnily
you say
enough,
that.
his first
I'm
name
not
was
bad.
Kevin, but he went by Doug, which was his middle name.
Oh, okay.
So yes, the Dorp rather, I'm sorry, suggests to the captain, "Hey, maybe if they see her, they won't sink us." And the captain's like, "That's the first good idea you've ever had. Hoist her up, and we'll see."
Yes, it was my idea and mine alone.
But also, like, once again, this captain, like, very short amount of page time. Total dick.
Brandon
You're not wrong.
didn't want much for this captain, but he wanted you to know he was a dick.
Yep.
Important information we have now gotten. But the attacking ship, it says either did not see or did not care because they keep shooting. And then the Sprouter's like, "Man, what a stupid idea." And he pulls her back down. And so then the cannonballs really start making some serious damage and things start going very wrong because the, what do they call it? The seethe stops and everything freezes. Unfortunately, that means that we're frozen directly in the line of fire of this cannon that's been firing at them. And now we can't even like dodge. So we're screwed basically. And she comes up with the idea. It's like, the guys on that other ship might want to harm me. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. The guys on this ship definitely want to harm me. So I'll take my chances. And she decides to walk out on the Spore Sea while everything is calm. But she turns back and it's like, "Oh, forgot the rat. Gotta bring Hank with me." She also bashes when the guy tries to stop her. She bashes him with the first thing she grabs, and it turns out to be her pewter cup. And she's like,
Take
"Wow,
that.
that really worked well." It reminds me of like Tangled, where the frying pan is like the most deadly weapon of all, just smacking people with the pewter mug. And I like she apologizes, like, "Oh, I almost forgot about you" to Hank, and he's like, "It's a common human failing. Don't get me started on the way your people talk about my kind."
I know we've dedicated ourselves to Hank, but just for my own edification, what is his actual name?
His name is Huck, Huck.
But isn't that like a nickname?
He says the name is the rat coughed. The name is Huck. That'll do, as I don't think my real name will work.
That's what it was. He wouldn't tell her.
Yeah, and she says, "Oh, it's like something in rat language that humans can't say." And he goes, "Basically, you." And she introduces herself as Tress, even though that's also not her real name. So,
By the time we pronounced one letter of my true name, 1,000 cosmoses would flare into existence and sink into eternal night.
not dramatic at all. It's fine. Yeah.
Good old Nibbler.
I do love Nibbler. Yes. Anyway, sorry. And I love. He's like, "Are you ready to do something absolutely insane?" And she goes, "Yeah, that's basically starting to become the theme of my life. So, all right, let's do this." And then there's a cool little illustration of Huck, Hank, whatever you want to call him, holding the cork that he was using to keep the light out. And chapter 12, The Crow. And if you're watching the little headers on each chapter, you can see the thing is starting to grow. And so she walks across the spores, trying to not breathe in too much. She's got her shirt pulled over her mouth, but all it would take is a single spore to get in there. Cannonballs still flying overhead. And of course, if the seethe begins again, she will sink to her death. So it's all bad. But she's a trendsetter because some sailors see her doing that and they're like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's try to do that.
This Tress is full of good ideas.
Yeah. Only it doesn't work for the others so much.
Well, they're not as careful as she is.
Also, there's a flock of seagulls starting to gather around the ship, which really indicates that, yeah, there are birds around here. I don't know what they're doing, but
I feel like seagulls in this world are actually like crows or ravens, and they're going to like pick at the carrion of their bodies.
yeah, it does feel a little like that.
Yeah, they're circling.
One guy gets shot and falls off the side of the ship, and he is bleeding, which is not good because, hey, there's water in that. And he disappears in a contorted explosion of vines. She could still hear him screaming in there somewhere as he was crushed. And we see the gulls attack the vines. It says, with apparent gusto. What was that about? Yeah, maybe they're after the blood. Maybe they eat the vines. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Most stillings are only a few minutes long, but sometimes they can be longer, so we'll see. And then we get the beautiful picture that Jamie mentioned of the vines, like, taking the ship as Tress walks away. This is, I really love this one as well. Got people falling off the ship. It's very dramatic. You even see the gulls like flying around, attacking the vine. And so, yeah, one of the other guys saw what she was doing and is running towards the enemy ship, but he's running, not walking calmly like she is. And as a result, is kicking up far too many spores. And then a mess of vines bursts from his eyes as he drops writhing, which is not good.
Yeah, all normal, cool stuff.
No. And then another one walks past her, it says, with a confident, steady stride. Faster than she dared, but clearly less kicking up of spores than the guy running. And she's like, please, Emerald Moon, please, just a little more time. But the guys on the other ship shoot that guy. And so, yeah, he goes down and vines grab him and it's all bad.
I wonder if because again, I'm fairly certain that Hoyt is telling the story on Roshar. So he's talking about guns and cannons. They're also like, fuck are those?
Right? Yeah, like, I guess maybe sometime in the future they could develop them. We don't know what time period exactly he'd be telling the story if it was on Roshar, I guess.
True.
And so she's like worried because now she sees what happens if you go to this ship. But also the ship behind her is going down at this point. There's no saving it. So her only possible hope lies in front of her. And so she gets to the other ship. They do not have uniforms on. The central person has a black plumed hat. But yeah, this does not seem to be a royal ship like they thought. And then it just says like nobody does anything. They don't offer her a place on their ship. They don't shoot her either, though. So she ties her sack of cups to her belt and starts climbing. And there's even a moment with the rat where she's like, hey, you can probably make it. And he's like, maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. But he's not going to try. He sticks it out with her. And she climbs partway up, but gets sort of stuck. Just where she can see the name of the ship, though. The Crow's Song. So I guess we have crows on this planet as well. And then there's a sound, and the spores start to churn again. And the Oot stream starts going down, dragged down by vines. The only men remaining are two guys on pieces of wreckage and one guy in a lifeboat. All with scars over their mouths and their eyes squeezed shut, which, yeah, that'll make it hard to find your way anywhere. Except it doesn't matter that much because then there's shots and the people on the Crow's Song kill the two people on wreckage and leave the guy in the lifeboat alive. So yeah, Tress's first voyage, it says it's an ignoble, I don't remember how you pronounce that, end to her first voyage. Yeah, it didn't go so well.
Did we talk about the illustration of the ship being taken over by the vines?
I mentioned it, but I don't know, what do you think?
I saw it and I was like, man, Brandon is going to do fucking anything but give us an actual tentacle monster. Now he's just teasing us.
Yeah, it's true. Just vines everywhere, no tentacles, no kraken.
Mm-hmm.
Still pretty badass.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome picture and like the story is great, but I'm just like, you mock us.
He knows you want a tentacle monster. You can't have it.
Yep. You bite your thumb at us, sir.
I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I do bite my thumb, sir. So she hangs on for apparently 15 minutes. And then they lower a rope down, and they're like, yeah, Captain Crow said we could pull you up if you lasted 15 minutes. And then they kind of just, she asks, what are you, privateers, kingsmen? And it's like, yeah, Doug is sewing us a proper flag, so we'll be ready next time, black on red. Apparently that's pirate flags, black on red. And she goes, so I'm with pirates now. Is that an upgrade or a downgrade from smugglers? I don't know. And why sink the other ship without going for loot? And then we meet Captain Crow with the plume in her hat, a scowl deep as the ocean. And we get the Hoyd commentary of, I've known a few people like her. She seemed too harsh, too full of anger. She was like the first draft of a human being before softening effects like humor and mercy had been added. And the captain says, throw her overboard. And this woman who helped pull her up is like, but you said we could haul her up. And the captain's like, yeah, I did. And you did. Now toss her.
I changed my mind. I'm the captain. I can do that.
But I don't know, possibly amazingly, the pirates, nobody moves to obey the captain. Like, they don't seem like they want to do that thing. And to try to help get this decision made, Tress, despite being exhausted, moves over, finds a bucket and a brush, and starts swabbing the deck. And then they all just leave her to swab the deck until night falls, and she's so tired that she goes into a corner and falls asleep. And that's the end of part 2 of this book. Part 2 of 6, in case you're wondering. And we find out that overnight she got kicked around a little bit, like, hey, people being like, hey, you're in the way, move. But apparently there was nowhere on the deck that wasn't exactly in the way. So, and it's like her first thought when she woke up wasn't for food or drink or other biological needs. It was for Charlie.
Oh,
frightened, trapped, and alone. And we get this whole thing about, from Hoyd's perspective, about empathy, basically. Which I won't go through all of it, but his conclusion is empathy is an emotional loss leader. It pays for itself eventually, which is an interesting perspective, I feel like. First watch gets called for food. Then second watch gets called, and someone tells her, yeah, she's on third watch. The captain says, you're on third watch. But third watch is never called for food. She's like, oh, I'm probably the only person on third watch. Okay. And she just keeps working. She catches Captain Crow, like, glaring at her, but she just keeps going. And then she recognizes the cabin boy from the ship Whistlebow. It's Hoyd, with his pure white head of hair and his gangly figure. Everyone called him boy, though he appeared to be in his 30s. And evidently of sound mind until he opened his mouth. My gums sure do like a lickin', he said.
Gross. Gums thoroughly licked.
And like the commentary is, yes, that's me. No, I don't want to talk about it.
But then he does talk about it.
Eventually, yes, we get some more information. But he just wanders off to stuff shoelaces up his nose. And I don't know what you guys are thinking at that point, but I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I'm sure Hoyd is just a person who says something to elicit a response at this point. Like,
Oh.
you say things and you walk away. Like, have you ever known a person like that? They just say things and you're like, what? Are you just trying to drag something out of I don't get you. This is what that is to me.
Interesting. Okay. I hadn't thought about it like that. So you're just like, oh, he's just being weird. That's what he does. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense for my gums sure do like a lickin'. I don't know about as I wandered off to stuff shoelaces up my nose.
My gums sure do like a lickin'.
Well,
Hoyd.
yeah, I guess he wasn't telling anyone except
Yeah.
like us. I don't know. He's getting a response out of us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
Okay,
here
I'll
talking
go.
about him talking about his gums. So
Yeah.
I think he got what he wanted.
Oh gosh. Okay. And she looks around and she feels like this is just like a normal crew. She also notes sexism interferes with profits, so women, men equally common on ships in the Spore Seas. Just get that out there.
Lesson we could use. Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
That's what for Star Trek fans out there, that's the thing that always drives me crazy about the Ferengi is they're a very profit-driven society, but they leave 50% of their population out of the workforce for some crazy reason. Anyway, then Hoyd pops up and goes, I've been wanting to gargle my shirts, but I ate them last week. And the rat's like, what is wrong with that guy? And she goes, I don't know. I've met him before. He's nice, if weird. And the rat's like, people who collect stamps are weird, Tress. That man is a few eggs short of a dozen. And he doesn't realize the 10 he's collected are actually rocks. Which is a long way to go to get there, but I love the I love the description. It's great. And we find out this is This was their first attempt at piracy, this crew. He's spied a little bit to overhear some stuff. They left someone alive so that that person could report the name of the ship. It's basically like their coming out as pirates moment. They killed almost 30 people to send a message. Hey, we're pirates now. And she thinks that she looks up and she thought these people were just really devoted to their work, but now she's thinking that they're trying to focus on that instead of the other stuff that has happened. Something is very wrong on this ship. And then we go into the chapter called The Dougs, where Hoyd goes, look, there's a lot of people on this ship. I don't remember them all. You don't need to remember most of their names. It's honestly not that important. So I'm going to give names to the most important crew members, and everyone else I'm going to call Doug. Because somehow the name Doug, regardless of how it's spelled, it pops up everywhere on all planets. I once spent 10 years on a planet where the only sapient life was a group of pancake-like beings that expressed themselves through flatulence, and I kid you not, one of them was named Doug. I don't know how that sounds in flatulence language, but okay.
I have questions, but I don't think I'm ever going to get an answer.
Where's that book about the pancake planet?
The farting pancake planet.
Yeah.
It's a novella called Pancakes for Breakfast.
Oh,
Cannibals
yeah.
too?
That's messed up, man.
No, it's like this whole planet that the whole story. I'm writing this as I go, by the way. The whole story is like these people are like, man, this planet has the best culinary skills, and all of their food is pancake based, but it's delicious. Every single piece is delicious. And then, to the dismay of the visitors, they find out that this planet just farms another planet of its entire population to make food. It's a real Simpsons alien vibe.
I was gonna say, it reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they've at one point talks about how they've discovered that most things that you can make grow naturally somewhere in the galaxy, and it's much easier. Like there's a planet of mattresses, and then you go there and shoot a mattress and dry it out. And so,
I was thinking maybe Hoyd was just telling this story to Lift, and this is the way to keep her interested. Bring in a pancake reference.
Yep, that the pancakes and the farts definitely sound like Lift would be into it. Yeah, I
She's
like this
she
idea.
stops the story. She's like, wait, I don't know anything else. Take me to this planet.
How many different kinds of pancakes are there? Can I eat them all? But yes, at the convention, the person who runs at the Dragonsteel convention, the person who runs Dragon Wood Shop, which makes some very cool wood stuff. If people have not seen that, Carly, she's a super sweet lady. They do something called the Great Doug Hunt every year for the last 2 or 3 years, where you can sign up to be a Doug, and you get a name badge that says Doug, and then says like number 5, and it has a word under that. And the point of the Doug Hunt is you go around, you see other people wearing the Doug badges, and you're supposed to try to find all 50 different words. Like there's like, I think there's like 200 badges for sale. So, and there's 50 words. So there's 4 copies of each word wandering around the convention somewhere. And the first person to find all 50 gets a prize or something. Last year there was a prize. This year it wasn't even. It was like, hey, if you find all 50, you get some stickers. It's really just a way to, break the ice, meet new people, chat, whatever. And it kind of works. We've done the Doug Hunt the last couple of years, and it's just fun. You walk around and somebody's like screams out Doug, and then they run up to you and they're like, hey, do you have this number? And you exchange numbers and chat and stuff, and it's a fun little thing. But it definitely came from this book. So many Dougs. There's a whole discussion about what do you do with the waste of people when you can't dump anything water-based into the Spore Sea. We find out that at least some of it is kept and unloaded when you get to port for composting purposes, which is, okay, kind of gross, but whatever. And then she runs across a discussion going on between a big guy with dreadlocks, and Hoyt has to be like, look, when I say he's large, you might be imagining like heavy set or beefy. Yes, he is those things, but also he's just, it's not, hey, eat a salad. It's not, hey, do you play sports? It's, hey, how do you get through the door?
He's a big dude.
Yeah. He's I think of Rock from the Stormlight Archive, but with dreads, and that's how I get there. It's one could imagine that the shards, after creating him, had said, maybe we went a little far in some places, and decided to cut 10% off all of their humans to conserve resources.
He's a big
And this
dude.
guy- yeah, big dude. This guy's name is Fort, and Fort is the quartermaster. He's looking at one of the ceramic cannonballs, and he's explaining to this gangly woman in a vest and trousers with 3 pistols strapped onto her that yes, he's examined all of the cannonballs in the armory, and he did not find any other defective ones. They all had a proper fuse timed to explode before it sinks a ship, so it can be captured and looted. And Anne is the name of this woman, says, "Oh, well, if none of the others are defective, then we shouldn't have to worry about sinking someone else by accident." So yeah, no, complete accident that they killed all of those people, actually.
Not good pirates, got it.
It's our first day.
Yeah. You can't get it all right the first time out. And Fort, as Joe pointed out, cannot speak or hear. He has, it's what Tress describes as a wooden sign where words appear after he taps on the back of it. And that is how he's communicating. He says, "I don't like this, Anne. We're supposed to launch cannonballs to incapacitate a ship, not sink it. I hate that we ended up killing all those people, and I really don't like how the captain acted afterwards. It doesn't make sense. This is not the kind of piracy we signed up for." And Anne's like, "Yeah, I don't like it either, but it's a little late to change our minds now. Like, we killed a whole ship of people and left a survivor to let everyone know the Crow's song is a ship of pirates now." And there's a whole thing about the legal ramifications of this, where it's like, look, if you're part of a crew that kills a ship, then you're responsible. I mean, it's reasonable. He has to explain this to Tress. How the rat knows more about the legal system of the country than she does, who knows? But there you go. I guess she's been stuck on the rock, and who knows how far this rat has traveled. And the last chapter that we did was the Quartermaster, where Fort talks to Tress, and she admits, "No, I'm not really an inspector." He says, "Well, you're a pirate now." And she's like, "I'm not a pirate." And he goes, "Well, if you want to keep breathing, you're going to be a pirate. All right. Don't talk about not wanting to join us. That'll get you tossed overboard. Did anyone feed you?" And she says, "No." And he gives her, it says, he slopped some crusty hash browns onto a plate and some watery eggs. And she thinks, oh, the leftovers from breakfast, the dregs that no one else ate. Fine. And it was awful. The overcooked hash browns had the consistency of beetle shells. Which, okay, yeah, that doesn't sound good.
You're expecting the, "I'm so hungry, like even the worst food will taste amazing." That is not what happens.
No, but we know Tress is, she's a bit of a chef herself, so she's got
Sure.
standards.
I mean, yes, but there's also, I really like Tress, but there are certain times when, beggars can't be choosers.
I mean, she doesn't say it out loud, and she does, in fact, eat the food, but yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "It tasted terrible, but I ate it."
Like Coach Z snarfing down whatever the fuck strong bad guy. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is awful."
Oh, man, Homestar Runner references. That makes everyone know how old we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you ever learn to scribbly scroll so fast?
Even with my boxing gloves on.
Trogdor!
I've got a Trogdor board game. It's great.
There's a board game?
Yeah, they did like a Kickstarter once upon a time.
Yeah, you burninate the village. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a cooperative thing to burninate the countryside and such, yeah.
Yeah. All the peasants in the thatched roof cottages.
And their thatched roof cottages. Yeah, they're all there. Anyway, we find out, like, he describes his device a little bit. It's like, "Oh yeah, isn't this a cool device? When you say stuff, it appears on this side for me to read, and then I hit some stuff and it appears on that side." And Hoyt has a whole thing about, like, he used to just try to read lips, Fort did, but actually reading lips is much harder than a lot of people think it is, which I have heard is absolutely true. So he says that he got his board. Oh my gosh. He got his board thing from a wizard a few years ago. And Tress is like, "A wizard?" He's like, "Yeah, from beyond the stars. Real strange fellow. Used it to translate words to our language. I traded hard to get it." And then Hoyt has to pop in and be like, "That wizard from the stars was not me. I've actually always wondered who traded him for that. That's Nalthian tech with awakened predictive connection circuits."
Whoa. Nalthus.
Which, yeah, if they're making, like, tablets with awakened circuitry, I feel like this must be the future from where we've seen them before. because they did not have that kind of technology last we saw. He's like, also, don't think about stealing it because it won't work for anyone except me. And she goes, what? I wouldn't do that. I mean, you've been so kind. He goes, it isn't kindness, it's trade. And she says, for what? And he goes, I haven't decided yet. Go back to your food. And we meet Soleil, the helmswoman, who is from the islands of Lobu in the Sapphire Sea, the same ethnicity as Fort, it says, where the Zephyr spores release a burst of air when watered. So we know what at least one other spore does.
Well, two. Like, didn't one of them make crystals?
Oh yeah, the rose one. That's true too. It makes the roseite crystals. Yep.
Like, I'm sure we might see it in action, but it seems like, all right, we water these spores and they become puffs of air. That seems marginally less destructive than vines creeping out of your face.
Yeah, what they didn't tell you is the puffs of air are like 100 miles per hour.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like, what's the bet? They're like miniaturized explosions.
Yeah. A puff of air. Actually, it's like a sonic boom, but sure.
Yeah, it's like you have a jar full of these spores, and you chuck them, and it's like throwing a grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we there's 12 spores, and we now know what 3 of them do. See, we're making progress. I do like this idea about air grenades, though. That could be fun. Soleil has come to try to trade with Fort for some earrings she won off some Dugs at cards. And he doesn't actually want the earrings, but it seems like the idea of getting a good deal, making a good trade is its own reward, Hoyd says, for Fort. So he does make the deal. And then Hoyd comes in and gets some of the leftover food also. It says the quartermaster brought out some more of the food, in quotes, and gave it to Hoyd. And he goes, my favorite. And Fort goes, don't try to eat the plate this time, please. And this is where we find out that Hoyd, earlier he said he lost his sense of taste. But as he digs into the food, it says, what? Yeah, of course I could taste it. What do you... Oh, you thought I lost my sense of taste to the sorceress's curse. No. I didn't mean that sense of taste. I meant the other kind, the important.
What does that mean?
Explain.
He lost his sense of taste, humor, my sense of decorum, and my sense of purpose, and my sense of self. Which, that one hurts the most since it appears my sense of self is tied directly to my wit. I mean, it's in the name. So yeah, he ran afoul of the sorceress, and yeah.
Sorcerer Supreme? Tilda Swinton?
I mean, that would be cool, actually.
Yeah, crossover with the MCU.
I would be on board for that, yeah. And so he goes, yeah, I think that's everyone you need to know. The captain, the first officer / cannon master, the quartermaster, the carpenter, the helmswoman, and everyone else is a Dug. Oh, except for Ulam, but seeing as he was dead, he barely counted. And that's where we end the chapter. The next chapter actually is called The Corpse, so maybe that talks about... does anyone remember the name Ulam? Because we've heard that one before as well.
I remember oolong tea, but no.
Okay, fair enough.
Nope.
We'll get there. For next time, we are reading 7 chapters, chapters 16 through 22. So, predicaments. Let's move into that. What do you guys think? Now, Tress has found herself a berth aboard a pirate ship. Hoyd is there. We've met some new people and some Dugs. What do you think? Where's this going? What's going to happen? How's she going to save Charlie?
I think she's going to stick around with this crew for a little bit. I can't see us, I can't see Tress on one boat and then on another boat and then immediately leaving, especially when Hoyd has gone to the trouble of introducing everyone for us. I think that maybe Captain Crow is a little more experienced, seems pretty ruthless. So I'm looking forward to getting to meet her a little bit more or finding out about her. Maybe like generally the ship's crew are recently with the King's forces. I don't really know what's happening like with this war coming up. So I don't know. I still feel like there's so much, like it's moving so quickly that I don't really know how to predict what's coming next. I think that, Tress is going to stay with this crew for a bit longer, maybe throughout the whole book. Part 3, maybe we'll see us reach like the King's land, because she's talking about having to, get there, maybe get the ransom note. Like that seems like a good plan. I don't know how she would go about that, but and then find out how to get to the sorceress. So there's still a few things. So I think like being on the Spore Sea, that's cool and everything. I feel like we've kind of seen what we need to see out here. So I'd like to see what another piece of land looks like. But beyond that, I don't know. They're making out the sorceress to be the big bad, but I still think we're onto something. And I think with the king and the duke, I think are going to be our problem children. So I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm just kind of enjoying the story at the.
All right, so we're holding on to the true bad guy theory. Okay. You all kind of, I think we're kind of on board that train after the last one, so I'm not surprised that it might stick around a little bit. Yeah. It also, I mean, we've seen the Spore Sea here. There's apparently like 11 more out there, so I don't know that we've seen everything there is to see on the sea. But it would be nice to get some other land. I can agree with that, yeah.
I should clarify, I don't think we will never go back on a Spore Sea. I think the Emerald Sea is probably where we've seen enough.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so we're sailing for adventure on the big green dry thing.
Yeah, don't get this thing wet, for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Ain't nobody want to go to jail in Mexico. So I kind of like Jamie's theory that we're going to stick with these. Initially, I kind of thought we wouldn't. I think she was going to kind of bounce around. But what might be really interesting, while she was talking, I kind of thought of this. What if this becomes like a Princess Bride thing in reverse, where she becomes the captain of this ship, and then they become like really good pirates, but then and then she learns like all the skills to save Charlie from her new group of shipmates, and she's better equipped to take on the Duke and the King and all that stuff. It's just a fun idea, I thought, for sure, with this with her especially. It's like the unlikely hero becomes the pirate captain and dreaded across the Emerald Sea, and she is Tress of the Emerald Sea, so might be fun.
The Dread Pirate Glorf.
Yeah, I was about to say it might be even funnier if she went by her real name, the Dread Pirate Glorf. So yeah, that'd be kind of a fun thing to see. I'm still of the mind that the Duke, along with Jamie, that the Duke and the King are the bad guys, and that the Sorceress is probably actually not that bad. And when she finds Charlie, he's like, "Hey, I'm all right. She gave me like a job, and I'm doing okay." But I do kind of want to go. Yeah, I do kind of want to go home. Do you want to stay here with us, or like, do you want to go home? What are we doing? And so yeah, I'm just looking forward to like I said, this book is going at a quick pace. We can make lots of predicaments, but I think her becoming the Dread Pirate Glorf is probably my favorite idea. She could be another chef pirate lord, just like
she does cook. Yeah,
yeah, just like what's his name from Melantris? Keen.
Keen?
Yeah. Was it Keen?
We said it Keen. Technically, it's pronounced Kai-Ein, but
yeah, the weird pronunciation of Elantris.
Driok Crushthroat.
Yeah, Crush Throat. That's the name, really.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the Dread Pirate Glorf. That's a great idea. Charlie's like, I'd kind of like to go home, and it's like, well, your dad already has a new heir that he likes way better. So
yeah, he likes him way better. It's weird. And if she does become a dreaded, like, evil, not evil per se, but she's ruthless. She's a ruthless pirate cook captain. She can, put spores in her food, emerald spores in her food to poison her enemies.
Ooh, wow.
And by poison, I mean they eat it and then, vines shoot out of their head.
That'd be some very dry food.
Well, I guess that's true.
Should I put a little seasoning on this? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
What is I guess I don't know. Like, we still know little about, besides getting them wet, we still know little about how the spores work. Do they react to heat at all? And if so, what is the reaction?
Interesting question. You got me thinking, like, could you put it in like one of those capsules like we use for medicine that it'll keep it from getting wet until you've eaten it, and then that could be unpleasant, actually.
Yeah, could be.
Okay. Murderous Dread Pirate Glorf. This is a good predicament. I like it.
Yeah, I also just we're moving at such a clip. It's like, are these characters going to be around for the next in another few chapters? Who knows at this point? She gets off this boat and onto another one. I don't know. I too am in the all right. Well, the King and the Duke are the villains, and the Sorceress ain't going to be that bad. Given how Charlie tends to be amusing, maybe like when Tress finally catches up with him and the sorceress. The sorceress has said, "Oh, he's my new court jester. He's very entertaining." And then Tress can have like a pirate hat, and then Charlie can have the jester's cap with the little bells hanging off it and everything. And it's like, if she becomes like a pirate queen and he's her first mate, it's like jingle jangle to the sound of your death.
Wow. Okay, that's
I don't know
a
what
little
the
bit
fuck I'm
dark.
saying anymore. Yeah,
This got really weird really fast.
I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know where we're going. I'm just along for the ride. It's just a girl, her talking rat, going to save her funny boyfriend from a sorceress who is probably actually not that bad. Let's go.
I don't know why, but I can't get this picture of the Chester cap out of my head now. And what a weird pirate duo that is. Like, pirate captain and her jester. Okay, yeah.
Don't forget the talking rat.
And the talking rat. Yep.
She wears a chef's hat. He wears a jester hat. The rat holds a cork. It's all happening.
You get a hat for the rat too, just
he doesn't want a hat. He wants his cork, man.
Just hollow out the cork, make it the hat.
Yeah, it's his thing. Why are you trying to take his thing away, Data?
Okay. I love how fun we can get the predicaments when, as Dak mentions, it's going at so quick a clip here, and being so kind of wild that it's almost like no predicaments are too crazy as a possibility. After the first episode, no one was predicting we'd run into a talking rat. If you'd said that, everyone would be like, "What, are you crazy?" But no, hey, there it is.
I mean, it's like, oh, she's on the ship. She's setting off on her voyage. She was on that ship for like a chapter and a half.
Yep. From her perspective, like even shorter, because she got to her room, took a drink, and that was it.
Yeah. It's like maybe it's just like she's just going to go on all these different ships and she's going to spend even less time on each of them successfully before they get sank or run into disaster or something. Who knows?
That would certainly be unexpected if it's just like we start meeting people, making friends on a ship, and then nope, that one's gone too, and it's gone.
It's
and
like she becomes known across the planet as like the bane of ships because any ship she gets onto, something happens to it.
Yeah, don't let her on board.
Yeah, she's the dreaded Tress of the Emerald Sea, sinker of ships and dreams.
Yep. And dreams.
She sinks ships and walks off them.
Yeah, she did do that thing. I mean, she didn't sink it, to be fair. But yeah, okay. All right, well, let's do a few emails. I'm going to skip up a little bit because we had several people write in trying to predict what Radiant orders we were going to get.
Ooh.
So I'm going to read through some of those since I don't want to get too far away from when that actually happened before. Oh, wait, actually, before that, I want to do one other email because it was funny. Brandon tweets, digging back into Mistborn for the screenplay and enjoying writing some new High Imperial for the first time in a long while.
No!
If you know, you know.
Oh, no, I don't want that at all.
And then there's a response that he makes, wasing the wanting of writing for Spook.
Oh, no.
So Rick sent this in knowing that Joe would like it. It says, Brandon knows what the fans want.
I mean, to be fair, I think we were all pretty anti-High Imperial, were we not?
Wasn't a fan.
Yeah, it's very jarring and hard to read.
Yeah. So it's not just me, listeners out there.
Is it going to be better hearing it and seeing it on screen, or is that just actually going to make it worse?
I feel like it's going to make it worse.
No.
You can't take anybody seriously who's talking like that.
Sounds like a really bad gangster rap when they say it out loud.
Yeah, it's like...
Right? I just had Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion or whatever his name is now just being like... I can't even do it. I'm not even going to try.
Spook Dog?
Spook Lion.
Spook Dog. Dude,
Yes.
Seriously, even if they had captions under it, how can you take anybody seriously on screen who is talking like that? I don't get it.
If their name was Spook Dog, you already wouldn't be.
Yeah, well, they're not actually going to be called Spook Dog.
Why not? That sounds great.
Yo, Spook Dog. Buzzing with the Whizzle.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, what are you talking about? Did I make a spook rap a long time ago?
Yes, you did. Exactly.
You did. Jesus Christ.
Man, that's been a long time. I have no memory of any of the lyrics to the spook rap.
It's out there forever.
Something about, I know I used his real name in it. That's as much as I can remember because I was proud of myself that I was able to rhyme Lestiborns, kind of.
Okay, we got the first email I got here is from Ichon, ICCHAN. It says, predicting y'all Night Radiant orders. Hey, you guys, I just finished the latest episode of Oathbringer. I'm glad you've all enjoyed the book as much as I did, and to this day, I still think Oathbringer might be the best book Brandon has ever written in his entire catalog. Do you guys agree? I guess I can pause there for a second.
Well, how could we agree? We haven't read all the books.
I mean, of the stuff you've read, obviously.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably my favorite of what we've read.
It's definitely up there. I don't know if I'd say it's the best one of his that I've read, but
Yeah,
it's definitely up there.
fair.
If you had to say what the best is right now, Dak, what would you say?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm still Alloy of Law.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a solid start to that second era.
Yeah.
My wife hated that one so much that it stopped her Cosmere read through for over a year.
Does she not like Western
Really?
stuff, or what's the deal?
She just maybe it was the Western sort of vibe to it. She just really did not like it, and she afterwards she was like, "Oh, and this story is so obvious where it's going. Like, Wax is going to end up with Marasai, and like." She thought that the whole thing seemed very contrived and predictable, and I was just like, I think if you read the next book, maybe you'll feel less that way. But
Yeah, especially because that's not what happens.
no, she finally this week went back and started reading the next book.
Shadows of Self.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, Jamie, what did you think about Oathbringer? Is it one of your top in the books we've read so far, or no?
Yeah, I think it's been my favorite. I love how it all came together.
Yeah. So happy to reread this book along with y'all. Anyway, Joe mentioned in the end to predict your Radiant orders, which is such a cool idea. I'm writing in this email literally 10 minutes after I finish listening. And I'm predicting the top 3 for each of you. And then they actually wrote by hand and sent me pictures of what they wrote. So if I have any trouble reading, sorry. It said the prediction for Data was...
That's dedication.
Yeah, right. It says, I'm going to send my answers literally written because I hate writing numbered lists on Gmail. Data, Elsecaller, Truthwatcher, Will Shaper was the top 3. Why? I think Data already mentioned his order on Discord. I can't recall if it was either Elsecaller or Truthwatcher, but my gut says it was Elsecaller. Anyway, it really fits you, even though I can't really explain why. It might have changed, though. So, good call on that one. I think that's pretty close to... I forget what my top 3 were, but it's not too far off. For Joe... Edge Dancer, Windrunner, and Lightweaver were the predictions for top 3. Why? Well, because the funniest of the 4, in my opinion... Oh, he's the funniest of the 4, in my opinion. I just had to place you in the same order as Lift. Ha ha ha. And then there's a drawing of a crying smiley face. Anyway, the oaths of the Edge Dancer are based on remembrance and care for the common people. Joe seems like the type to be interested in social work, in helping others, holding on to memories of people, and being a great listener, as being a shoulder to cry on for his friends. So that's nice.
Yeah, it was all nice things you said. I appreciate it.
And their number 2 is what you ended up getting. So there you go.
That's true.
Dak, Dustbringer, Bondsmith, and Stoneward. And actually, if I recall right, on the Discord, Dustbringer was a popular prediction for what Dak would get. In fact, I think I even thought Dak might end up with a Dustbringer. So that just shows what we know.
Dustbringer.
Dustbringer is the one I got least.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that was one of the lowest.
What's the Dustbringer traits? Why were people thinking that?
Well, I'll go through what this person said. Why? Dak gives me the most CEO-like vibes. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a business. Honestly.
I'm sorry, I was trying not to laugh.
I unmuted specifically to laugh. Okay.
CEO vibes. Oh man. That was
Wow.
awesome. Hey, you know what, Dak? That means you sound really put together on this show, you know?
I guess I'm good at masking it. I mean, I appreciate the compliment. Like that is I could safely put my hand on my heart and say that is not something I ever expected to be described as.
Nice. Honestly, these three orders can go in either rank, as their oaths deal with unity, team dynamics, self-mastery, and responsibility. In the end, I ended up favoring Dustbringers the most, as his analysis to dig deeper into these stories aligns with it the most. So, interesting.
Yeah, Dustbringer and Stoneward were my two lowest.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that
What was
that
your
one was a bit off.
what was your second highest? Do you remember?
Windrunner.
Windrunner. Yeah. See, I feel like we are aligned in a lot of things, you and I. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This person actually wrote in a second email to clarify some of the things and that they said, and I think one of them is for the DAC part. Hold on, let me. Yes, they're color coded. They said, by deeper analysis, I really meant that out of everyone in the crew, his predictions are often the most correct, less like predictions and more like comments said in passing. LMAO.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go that route, I would say he's more of a truth watcher then, right? Like if you're gonna say like he ends up being right a lot about stuff.
Let's not forget I'm also the volcano guy, so
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you swing for the fences. That's the point.
Maybe that's where the Dustbringer thing comes from. Is they're all like we saw him a lot of like burning a design into a table. There's just like a burning component to volcano theory.
I don't think burning is his personality. I think it's just swinging for the fences on these predictions.
yeah, but you say that like anytime my favorite Pokemon type was always the fire guys.
Oh, there you go.
Uh,
maybe I'm wrong. I'm a water guy myself.
And my favorite X-Men character has always been Pyro. So
I was about to say I know Dak loves Pyro.
Oh yeah, I thought that was just the Aussie connection, but if it's more about fire, you let me know.
it's about the Aussie, it's about the fire, and it's about that he's a writer. All things like I really like.
Yeah.
Pyro from the movies wasn't Aussie horror writer.
That
No,
is
he
one
sucked.
of many problems I have with those fucking movies.
Yeah, that Pyro was not good.
I mean, just about almost every international character in those movies got made American for some reason.
Yeah, it's like
fair
I
point.
guess they thought American people wouldn't watch it. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, Banshee, like not Irish. Colossus, not Russian until the Deadpool movies. It's
Until
like,
Deadpool, right? Yeah.
Like, why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Deadpool fixed some of it. You get Colossus, you get like the Yukio character. She was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then the Jamie prediction says Jamie, Windrunner, Will Shaper, and Truth Watcher. Why? Well, Jamie was the hardest to decide because she doesn't speak as much as some of the others. It's hard to ascertain for sure. She gives me, quote, big sister energy, who enjoys standing up for people, friends, family, for their protection, and also having a high moral compass into always doing the right thing. And then there's a clarification on that. Hold on. Okay, by strong moral compass, I mean she adheres more towards the spirit of the law and the sense of right, while I feel the rest of the crew is more willing to compromise to do their goals.
That's nice things too.
Yeah.
I was not any of those things.
It's true, yeah. But you know, you're the one that you got kind of falls in line with some of the predictions that they made for Joe for
Yeah.
getting that same one. So
Yeah.
and they sent in their own quiz, which they got Else Caller as their top one and Dustbringer as their second one. So
Nice.
we've got more examples to look at.
Yeah. I never asked you, Data. Did you have like a preconceived notion for us?
I think, like I said, I think for Dak, I was thinking Dustbringer, and I think in my mind it's because I associate him with like Pyro and fire, and that's kind of a Dustbringer thing. I didn't think too deeply about why. I was just like, I bet Dak's like a Dustbringer, but I don't think I had preconceived notions for anybody else. Nelly Mandelli also wrote in with some predictions. Hello, Data, who was reading.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what they're from the Discord. Anyway, hello, Data, who is reading this to Dak, Jamie, and Joe. This is Nelly Mandelli from the Discord and one of the very early emailers. After hearing Joe's idea of mailing in predicaments from the audience about which order the people would be sorted into, I thought that was a great idea. I'm pretty sure none of these messages will come in before the episode is recorded, but I'm particularly excited for these genre of emails to trickle in over months as folks catch up. Of course, with a deluge right now, I hope. That's probably true. We will get some later on. That'll be funny.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, we sorted that out a year ago.
Joe is the easiest prediction for me, he says. I feel like Will Shaper is the ace here. He's a willful guy, going against the grain and insisting on maintaining his stances. Skybreaker was a thought too, but he isn't dedicated to a set of moral rules, I don't think. I will be surprised to be wrong. And Joe's defiance at being painted into a corner is just more proof that this prediction is correct.
Am I defiant to be painted into a corner?
That maybe it's something from that episode. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't recall.
I don't
offhand.
recall.
Joe doesn't have a set of moral rules, you know.
No, that's not true.
Then Data, I as well think there are two options for our host Supreme. In order to be the type of person who would put together this style of podcast, going over in detail a story he knows very well and recording the experience of others, I feel he leans heavily into Truth Watcher, my own order, and one I anecdotally see very often in folks who discuss theories online. Being interested in data, story analysis, and presenting it to others seems to be my evidence there. I hold space for Else Caller too, perhaps just because our radiant Else Caller Yasna is scholarly herself. I think Truth Watcher was another one that was high on my list, but I don't remember offhand. So.
Yeah. I think you said it was like maybe second or third. I don't recall.
I think so. Now those two above predictions were done off the top of my dome, but reviewing the order descriptions, since they seem so clear to me, I'll have to research for our Aussie pals. Dak and Jamie, after having read through the orders again, I believe it is best to combine my guess for these two. Perhaps it's because I have less immediate and outstanding judgments for them, so I am less certain. I love that. He's like, I can judge Data and Joe right away, but I believe Dak leans towards the Dustbringer for his subtle drive to be better and to achieve specifically for his craft in screenwriting, as we have gotten to hear about. Swinging for the fences, guess Stoneward. I don't know why, just vibes. So yeah, another Dustbringer prediction for Dak. Which once again, one of his lowest ones. Maybe do you say the very lowest?
The lowest.
Yeah,
the lowest.
Interesting.
I'm interested in the Dustbringers. I'm just like, okay, it's just surprising so many people have called that, and that was the lowest.
Right? Yeah.
Just goes to show they don't know you. They don't know you.
Mm.
Jamie, being as how we see her literally enter into and perform motherhood through the runtime of this podcast, I feel like calls the most towards Edge Dancer for the remembrance and care of others. I think the parts of these stories that resonate with her also support this. I don't want to offer her a, quote, feminine answer, but I do realize there is at least parasocial understanding of her, which is healthy, so good. I look forward to hearing the results from your test. I started my own reread of Tress and look forward to keeping up. Great choice of a novel for a well-needed break. So called Jamie, at least.
That's true.
Good job. Yeah.
Interesting to point out that it's like basically we watched Jamie become a mom on the podcast. Although
Whoa.
you could say the same thing about Dak and Joe being dads, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we mention that like the majority of the people in our lives are also edge dancers? Like my wife was an edge dancer and your wife was an edge dancer as well.
I don't recall if we mentioned it, but yeah, there's a lot of edge dancers hanging around in our lives, apparently. And then they wrote in again, having just listened to the episode, I as well am 100% a Ravenclaw and see Truth Watcher as that analog, with Else Caller as the second alternate, similar to Data's thought.
I would say Else Caller's closer to Ravenclaw than Truth Watcher, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, opinions. Without trying to go back on my guesses, I had a feeling Dak and Jamie were similar. I wanted to have more to latch onto in separating their personalities, but they seem to have married similar personalities to each other. Aw. That was in the email. I am shocked at how Edge Dancer and Windrunner heavy these results were, but maybe I shouldn't be. I am surprised Will Shaper wasn't Joe's result. I have to think on that. Thanks for sharing with us.
We haven't met a Will Shaper, have we?
Well, I think we decided at the end of the book that Venli is the last of the orders that we hadn't met yet. So that would make her that, I guess.
Interesting. Okay. I feel like if you read, there's like a lot of subtext in, especially near the end of the series of Harry Potter, where Ravenclaws are like held up as being super intelligent, but they're often wrong. Like they will say things or have opinions in the books that turn out to be incorrect. And they are, so I feel like that's actually like one of their flaws, right? They think they're so intelligent, so smart that they know everything, but it turns out they actually don't, right?
Well, yeah, being told that you are the smart ones probably gives you a false sense of superiority there.
And then we have the Hermione, right, who's right most of the time, and people act like she's a know-it-all, but like really she's just a person who earnestly wants to help people and be somebody who knows how to help people, right? So it's like you have that kind of like distinction between these people who are told they're smart so they feel superior, and this person who is told they're a know-it-all but like is coming from a very humble place. So I find that kind of an interesting distinction in the book.
I've been reading the first one with my kids, and she's pretty snooty at the beginning.
Oh yeah, but she's she's too intelligent for her age
She's
at that
11,
point, right?
So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's interesting. Before I get too distracted thinking on that, because there's that you can probably read a lot deeper into a lot of that, and there's people like Hermione was on the line between these two as far as the Sorting Hat was concerned to start out
Right.
with, and then we know like from other content that like McGonagall was a hat stall and the hat took like half an hour and couldn't decide which house to put her in.
Yeah.
So between those two, so yeah,
there's other context for Hermione as well, right? You have to think about she's an only child. We don't know what her Muggle life was like, but then she goes to being an only child. She goes to a school where she knows no one, has no friends. Harry is famous, so he has the ability to either make friends or enemies very easily, whereas she like had to work really hard to make any friends. So there's also probably a part of that snootiness, especially in that first book, that comes from like being like, well, I have to stand out and be excellent in order to possibly make friends, and then that kind of backfires on her.
And the only child of two doctors, so that doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no academic pressure there at all. Anyway, there's one more email that we got about Radiant predictions. This one is from Spencer. It says, "Hello, New Radiants. Writing this email before the Radiant quiz episode drops, so I'm just here to see how wrong I'll end up being. Data brought you guys and us fans all together, so this feels very Bondsmith-like. I think Bondsmith may have been one of my lowest ones, but I like the logic there at least. Joe has the responsibility and power to assign all of us listeners misting and faring powers, clearly a Dustbringer with the responsibility theme." Which I also like. I like Spencer's logic here a lot, even if it's completely off. It's great.
Right. Like, I literally just fell into that because I had the idea and Data was like, you can do it then.
Yep. Dak, from all the different voices, this feels like a Lightweaver becoming someone else. Which also good logic. Yeah, no, I see it.
I like that. It's cool.
And Jamie, after the strong early impressions of looking deeply for predictions, Truth Watcher. I can see that.
Okay.
She's like, yeah, why not? I'll take it. I hope you're all perfectly unhappy that I've got you right or wrong for my one-note reasons. Looking forward to both Tress and Dawnshard because both are great. From Spencer, Order of the Truth Watchers from the quiz, Tin Compounder, courtesy of Joe. And then in parentheses, I can see everything. And then they wrote in a second email after the episode, I can see everything except for your Radiant orders. So awesome. Thank you, Spencer. I love the predictions. Those were a lot of fun, hearing what you guys all thought. If you're listening to this, it's probably too late for you to send in predictions because you've already heard that episode. But I hope that we do get more at some point with people theorizing because that was actually fun. We have a bunch of emails left, but I'm going to stop here for today. So I skipped the line on several of y'all because I wanted to keep it close to when it was relevant. This is the first time we've recorded since that episode came out. So that is why it ended up that way. But thank you for the emails. If anyone wants to send us an email, the address is thesanderlanch@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram and Facebook and Blue Sky, places on the internet, and Patreon, where I'm still posting my reactions as I read through Isles of the Emberdark for the first time. If you're interested in hearing me talk about that, sign up for our Patreon, and Joe will assign you a faring power. Or if you leave us a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice and send us a screenshot of that, Joe will jump you into the misting crew, and you will get a misting power. So if you have not done those, try those out. Remember, we are doing 7 more chapters for next time. That is 16 through 22. So if you're following along with us reading Tress, that's it. 7 more chapters. We are, at this point in the book, 22% of the way through. So we're already over a fifth of the way through this book in our first 2 episodes, which makes sense with the number of episodes it has. But the story is chugging along, and so are we. So 7 episodes for next time. No, 7 chapters for next time.
7 hours of content.
7 chapters for next time. Music by Miracle of Sound, and Wuzzing to the Time of Next. Colo, P.S. Fasher. Crabs ahoy!
Queen of the pirates, she said sail on the